Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh. Let's do it.
Oh.
Sounds like you're farting.
That's ending how it started.
Mike was excited. Hello and welcome to the post-production podcast, episode 21. Our final episode.
Emotional.
It's an emotional one.
Emotion.
For those of you who don't know, Michael's only been given a week to live. So cut the podcast pretty short.
Yeah, and he's trying to make arrangements with God before he has to go. So that's why we haven't been making content the last while, because we were wanting to respect Michael's wishes. You know.
Yes.
We couldn't really make content. We were taking him actually all the way across the world. A bucket list of everything he wanted to accomplish before he died. We didn't get through that list, so he's kind of pissed off about that.
Haunted Files China coming soon.
Haunted Files China coming soon.
Spoilers.
We're calling that first episode.
It's not real.
A night at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Gritty Fazbear.
Gritty Fazbear.
Gritty Fazbear.
Right. So, this actually isn't a joke. This is our final episode of this podcast.
First of the season.
Yeah.
First of the season.
Every episode's the last.
It's actually very ironic because it is this time last year that we done our first podcast, and somehow in a whole year we only managed to get to 21 episodes. In a whole year cycle. We were meant to be making a weekly podcast. We only got to 21 episodes, which means we missed out. We missed out on 31 weeks.
Oh, when you put it in perspective like that.
Hell, we did a lot of videos.
When it was consistent, it was consistent. When it wasn't, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't realise there was that many.
It was a good ride doing the podcast.
We forgot. We're only human.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be fair, I think after that first episode, the rough beginnings. I think it did get better as it went on.
I think we peaked in episode 5 or 6, and then it just started to taper off. As soon as we done the first car podcast, I think that's when things started to go down.
Yeah, never do anything like that ever again. Because that's just quality dipping. But
there is a reason. We have. It's not all bad news. We do have plans, and we have stuff to explain.
Me and Tom look like we're like dwarfs.
I don't like this, but I can't put this seat any lower.
Sorry,
it's fine.
It's fine. In here?
This is a temporary setup for this.
We are in the middle of building a new podcast setup.
Yeah.
Now I know you're asking why are we building a new podcast setup if we don't have any podcasts, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
We're all on the same length, but Adam had to have a really tall spine.
I was kind of just bored and like this.
Fix it.
Just get a saw out.
Oh man, that's gross.
But so we were going to put a video out in the channel talking about some of the big changes that are coming in the coming days. But this podcast is kind of just going to act as that video. So we thought, as well as explaining where the channel's going, both this channel and another channel, we're also going to take a wee look through some of the best moments of the post-production podcast. And
which actually, in part, is a part of our new setup that we're going to have.
Yes.
We are using a very cool CRT monitor that Adam has had for a while, and we're going to use that for future projects. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Not future project, but you'll see soon. It'll be soon enough. I
thought we picked up. It's a real cool looking piece of tech.
Yeah.
We've got a wee keyboard here for the first time in this podcast history. On the final episode,
yeah,
we can pull things.
The thing that Technical T was supposed to do from the second episode onwards,
it's an advancement,
is now being done in the last episode.
The 21st episode.
Where Technical T's basically not even doing anything technical anymore.
The 21st century.
It's not even like we're ending it on
Hi.
I was gonna say an equal number. We're ending it on 21. Like that was.
Aaron only puts that 9 plus 10 joke. By the way, I'm just gonna say right now, grew up.
You're barred from the channel. You're banned.
Grew up.
If you are watching this, though,
It's a good meme.
and you've been watching ZeusWeusFilm for quite some time, you're probably going to realise the channel's looking a bit different. It's not looking the same as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So just if we forget I can do this now, and just pop over here.
Hyperactive.
Got a man showing the vanity of himself on his own. No shame
What?
on the profile picture.
That's the same profile picture.
The vanity project.
Oh, that's a custom profile picture.
I had it made in what's
Thailand.
Thailand.
That's a North Korea
Kashmir
job
suit.
right there, mate.
Kashmir suit. Yeah, so we got you might notice there's a lot of videos absent. They're not gone. Any videos we made that we talk about, the podcast, this podcast, even some of the older series, ZeusWeusFilm, School Beyond Film. Who remembers those?
Me.
They're still there. They're just unlisted. But if you go to the playlist section of the channel, you can still watch them.
There's one video I will say though. It's been sent to like the ban realm / shadow realm. You can still watch it, but if you do it at your own peril. And that is the Hunt-a-File Easter special. Now, this is one reason why things are changing on the channel.
Big chunky stories.
Because so
Oh yeah.
the cut a long story short. Basically, what we were finding was we were coming back and making content. As you know, we were making like the odd podcast or so in bursts. I think the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back? That's the saying. I f***ed the saying.
To say the
The camel broke the straw's back. But
Wouldn't
yeah,
like the camel.
so we basically kind of slumped our momentum completely. And you can see it clearly is this video. Not that this video we weren't having fun at all, but the amount of energy in this. Like, watch this first scene with me.
Beautiful day and we're right here first.
Like, I cannot be asked at all. If you
He's
compare
the one
that to the
that's
past episodes, that's like a cash-in job. And
What
what
we
we
kept saying, like Bruce Willis coming back after 20 years.
yeah. It's like your actor come back to B movies and you don't want to see him do it, but like you also understand he's getting paid.
He's like, I gotta do it for my family.
Yeah, me
We didn't want to make it. We didn't want to make anything more like this. This here was a low point for us, content creativity wise. The idea is not bad in theory,
In theory.
but it's
Christmas
also
special started as a good idea.
yeah. Christmas
Easter
special.
bunny.
Making one about the Easter bunny was just
Calling it Big Chungus was a mistake.
yeah.
That was a mistake.
He's a rabbit.
I'll basically put it this here. There is no authenticity in this. It's just pure parody.
Yeah, we ate a lot of chocolate that day. I don't think we've done max sacrifice
Like, it is.
for you guys.
And
I worked it into my diet.
it's like
Don't
one of
tell
them, it's
Slimming
one of them
World.
YouTube kids videos. With like Pennywise. That is what this reminds me of.
Pennywise wishes he could be in this.
Wish- You know, I'm just putting my hands in there. I was not very involved with this video apart from being in my parts. But so these two, I don't know what they were smoking when they came up with this and filming it.
Was it?
I just watched this, man. Just watch this segment.
Wow, this should be
Where's the jokes?
Oh no, the worst one's the one where you go about getting scrambled. That has to be like the worst
How
joke.
is that worse than my
No, I mean it's the way you say it. It's like the most like
You came up with
it's the most like Elsa Spider-Man type like video moment. It's when you go, oh, I almost got scrambled. Oh my god.
Oh, that was the best
Here we are.
time
I was
ever.
nearly scrambled.
Like that, and then the editing.
Oh man. The purple river.
The amount of times
That's a
we
nice one.
stood and watched this and laughed,
Don't drink the whole
but it's
river,
almost an
Adam.
embarrassment at times.
We've been using that same soundtrack since the second episode where
Yeah.
the beast
Oh.
is there.
Improv.
We've been
Like, look
using
at Michael, man. The man's got like bunny ears on. Oh, this is. Can you pause 1 minute? Yeah, so as you can see so far, that is partially the reason why we've basically had long discussions on this, and we're coming to a conclusion of like kind of how we're going to do things in the future. It's because this was basically done like this because we wanted to make something quickly to get a special out. And what we realised was...
It done really well.
What we realised was, if we're going to make any more things like Hunter Files or any series Adam has in the back burner, we don't want it to be rushed, or we don't want things to feel forced to get content out for the simple idea of, hey, let's get a podcast out quickly that has zero substance to it, zero actual, like, what's the word, identity to it.
Yeah.
Like, we were called a post-production podcast. It was meant to be because we were meant to be working on things, and then we did the podcast afterwards.
It's not well, that is why we came up with that name, but do you not remember, post-production podcast was the name we settled on because we originally called it Director's Lounge, and it was taken.
Yeah.
Which, on that note, is another reason why...
Because it was maybe you and Michael as the hosts, and you're both directors, so...
But on that note, that's another reason that this podcast is getting retired after this episode. I'm not going to call out anyone here, right? But whenever we done the first episode of the Director's Lounge, and then we realised that there's actually already someone called that, we changed it to Post-Production Podcast. Someone else on YouTube did not give that same consideration and has taken the name Post-Production Podcast, even though we started the podcast like 6 months before that. I'm not going to, complain at anyone, but it's not very nice. He could have done a research. That's all I'm saying. But to be fair, the name wasn't that great.
You're not butthurt at all.
You're
not butthurt at all, but
No, I'm not vexed at all.
Every single night.
I don't go to bed every night wishing I could kill him. It's not like that deep.
To be fair, though, it's for, in hindsight now, it's for the best.
It's for the best because the name wasn't great.
So,
So now he's lumped with a name that sucks.
Yeah, the identity just wasn't there.
The name, both podcast names we had when it was originally the Director's Lounge and then post production, they would call that just because we're like, we want to do a podcast.
What about light?
Technical issues still seem to plague us. Nothing actually happened there. The light did not go out.
You didn't see nothing.
Now we're back. Look at this. Transitions in that.
What was I saying? So yeah, the name existed because we needed we wanted to have a podcast on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
We just like, I don't know. Let's just get started on post production podcast. Director's Lounge. Doesn't really.
Yeah.
Something generic film related.
It was. We were so eager to actually get started making stuff that it was like, oh, let's do your own podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Let's film this. Let's film that. And we were so eager at the time. It's not that eager just went away. It's just whenever you're so eager and you just want to get making stuff, you have to come up with names very quickly.
Yeah.
And whenever you do that, sometimes you don't overly think about it.
That's true.
And even though we did have a discussion about it, we filmed the one episode which was the Director's Lounge, and then we were like, oh wait, we can't use that anymore. So for the next week we had to come up with a new name, and it's not as if you can like, when it comes to film, you can have a certain amount of names. That was the issue. We tried to think of different names, but every time we looked them up, it was either taken or we just didn't think it would sound right with us saying it.
I can't even remember any of the ones we had off the top of our head, like my head right now. Like some of the ones we were considering, but
don't remember.
So we ended up doing this
pre-production podcast.
Probably looked that up, seeing that it was already taken. I was like, oh, Proust. Like,
After Earth podcast.
But Jaden Smith's podcast, mate.
Jaden Smith moment.
Jaden Smith.
Shout out Jaden.
Jaden. Will Ferrell podcast.
But so yeah, we were doing. That's fine. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, what was happening last year, right? Was we started making content around September. Right?
Yeah.
Now this channel,
you could say that.
Before that, I'm not sure if this is it. We probably have talked about it on previous podcasts, but before that, this channel was just a place to put up professional work, like client stuff. I've been doing like music videos at that time, that sort of stuff, wedding videos, that sort of thing, and any films that I'd like worked on. And ironically, now it's actually came full circle and has went back to that.
Yeah.
Well, minus the professional work, that's not stuff I'm putting up anymore. It's just going to be ZeusWeusFilm from now on. You're going to catch the stuff like Hunter Files we've been doing. We're still working on Hunter Files Season 2. We've got big plans for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that sort of stuff and films, that's the type of thing ZeusWeusFilm's going to be. But we do still enjoy making that YouTube content. It's not something maybe that fit it on this channel when we were doing like the We Talk Abouts and the podcast. It maybe didn't fit here, but it is still something we enjoy. I mean, it's pretty much been like something I've wanted to do since I was a teenager.
Yeah, and to actually add on to your point, for anyone thinking who maybe may follow the story video or already stopped like all their content, I know we said that story you weren't doing that, or like, oh, you're not doing Hunt Files anymore. The point I was making about this big chunk of stole Easter, right, is basically we don't want to rush Hunt Files season 2 or any of the content we make for ZeusWeusFilm. We don't want to feel as if we obviously want to have deadlines to an extent, because you like ideally you want certain things to go at certain times.
Yeah.
But we don't want to feel as if, oh, we have to record a new episode every week like we were at the start of Hunt Files. Because even at Hunt Files, if you watch the first 3 episodes and then you watch the last 3, there's not a decline at all. Yeah. But you can tell to an extent,
we were
like,
kind of getting stressed.
Yeah, we're getting stressed. Adam had a bunch of editing to do, because Adam had to edit every single video and every single podcast, and that's a lot for one person to do. And then for me and Michael at the time having part-time jobs, we were having to basically come out of work and then instantly film, etc. And Adam was basically having to film, go back, edit everything, edit in the morning, edit in the afternoon, and then film again. And this is just to get our normal weekly content done.
Yeah.
And it wasn't sustainable. And then that's why you had the burst where, for example, after Christmas, there was basically nothing made until maybe how long?
Late January, early February.
Late January, early February. Then there just kept being breaks. Over the summer, there was probably nothing. I think we recorded a few things.
No, the last
maybe between May and June.
We recorded some podcasts which, at the time of recording this, aren't even up.
Yeah, they're not even up.
Before this one is, obviously, because we're going to be uploading all of them.
Yeah.
But
the bottom line for us is, we want to make YouTube content, but we also want to keep our series going. But we didn't really know how to do that without losing the identity of the ZeusWeusFilm channel. You can't really make a bunch of YouTube content that we would want to make, like for example, viewing content. No, not viewing content, but not reviews, like watching movies type content / analysing movies, and games, podcast, and then have our own series all on one channel. It would feel very clustered and almost claustrophobic on one channel to have all of that there. Yeah. So Alan will probably say in a second about what this other channel is, but don't be worried about ZeusWeusFilm. We are still going to be making stuff for it. It is just because we're all at times in our lives where we have to plan more, because it wasn't like last year where it was just we were wanting to rush to get stuff out.
Yeah.
We're still as passionate as then, but life, as everyone knows, has corners has different routes at every turn. Yeah. So things have changed a bit, but we're not going to. And whenever we make videos, and put the Hunt Files name to it, I know people might say, "Oh yeah, but it's a parody-based thing. It's meant to be a joke." We want it to be parody, but we also want it to be authentic. Yeah. And whenever we force in too many jokes, or whenever we try to be basically almost like actors at times, now obviously you're not going to get every video to be perfect, where you can be fully authentic and it just turns out to be scary or funny. You have to maybe just come up with an idea for something in a Hunt Files episode. But we just don't want anything that feels as if this isn't us, and that's how the Easter special feels. The Christmas special felt like us. It felt funny, but it had the right amount of timing, comedy, mixed with a bit of scares. Yeah. And also it's Christmas. You can let anything go at Christmas
and
have fun.
The Christmas special,
but the Easter special for us coming back was Hunt Files. Name Hunt Files. Easter special.
Chungus.
Yeah. And it's like
it just makes sense.
It just does.
It just as I've said, it's just not us. So
yeah. Is that my camera?
It's Michael's phone.
I fired. Let me just put it. Oh.
If you just got hit by audio there, it's Michael's phone.
Sorry, let me just put it on vibrate.
That is on
vibrate.
Oh, it's vibrating the whole band. Hopefully that didn't pick it up too much. I barely heard it from over here.
It's I don't know if it would. It's maybe not because it's something that rubber thing. But anyway, So yeah, I think the Easter special came from a time in the channel where like didn't really know what I guess the identity of the channel was at all, because whenever we started like making content last year, it basically came from like it was a very strange time. Well, it was a very strange time back then for like probably for all of us, but like I was kind of in a weird situation, and then we started making that content, and I didn't really question it. The one thing that's kind of plagued me from that as we started making content is I have another YouTube channel. It's the first YouTube channel I've ever had, and we're making I've been making content on it over like here and there for since I was like 14, and the whole time we were making content I was kind of looking at that channel being like, what is the point in that channel anymore? Like, what does it do?
Yeah.
So like whenever before we started making stuff, it was like, oh, this channel's for like just professional work in films, and this one's for YouTube stuff. That made sense, but then when we started making YouTube stuff, I'm like, well, what's the point in that one? And then I remember
you almost got rid of it.
I almost got rid of it at one point.
Yeah, imagine that now.
But I remember at one point as well, after making content, like I think it was you, Michael, was saying like, oh, wouldn't it be really funny if like we streamed like Pacifier Warzone with each other? And I was like, yeah, but it wouldn't really fit on ZeusWeusFilm. And then over the past while, when we've not been making content, I've been sort of thinking to myself like, what if that channel, basically the content that we were making on ZeusWeusFilm continues on there? You know, that you still can watch that content on this other channel. It's just called ZeusWeus. It's I'll bring it up on the screen here. You know, it's been around for a while. ZeusWeus.
No.
What if like the content we were making on ZeusWeusFilm, a podcast that we talk about, that sort of stuff, can live on this channel, but we can also do some other stuff that we couldn't do on ZeusWeusFilm, like when we had like live streams, you know, of us playing like horror games, that sort of thing. I mean, these are things that we can do on this channel that wouldn't really fit on ZeusWeusFilm. So I was thinking, damn, that would work, because that means ZeusWeusFilm can just be a place to spread, you know, the creative projects that we're working on, like Hunter Files and films, that type of thing, across all the different like social media platforms ZeusWeusFilm's on. There's ZeusWeus, just like this channel, is only on YouTube. It's not like I have 2 Instagrams or that sort of thing. It's just this. So this can just be a cool channel that we can like make that content for. We can make a podcast there. It doesn't, you know, strictly have to be about film. It can be about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
We can make the we talk about, you know, watching movies and reviewing them, that sort of thing. We can do that, but we can also like, I don't know, stream us playing a horror game or something out there. It kind of answers that problem of, well, what does that channel do? Plus, oh, but we want to do other content other than just reviewing films.
Yeah.
And it can be separated off on its own channel where we can do everything. And then ZeusWeusFilm can just be a place to make films and series.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like fixes all the problems we've been having, because it probably would be easier to keep up a consistent level of content if we could just make the content about whatever we want.
Yeah.
And similar to how on this channel and on the previous podcast we've been like showing you guys the ZeusWeusFilm Patreon and like advertising it, on that channel we can just advertise ZeusWeusFilm as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think it really does like fix a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about it this way. ZeusWeusFilm is for anything we're doing that is us filming projects. That is ZeusWeusFilm. ZeusWeus is basically like I don't know, not going to term playground, but because it may sound a bit dodgy, but it kind of is to an extent, where we can just kind of just create whatever we want to. You guys are just.
He said Epstein, not me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, continue.
Playground.
Like open field almost would be the better term, where we can kind of just blank canvas, whatever you want to say, really.
Yeah.
Because me and Adam are basically talking. The main 2 people you will see on the channel will be me and Adam. This is because me and Adam live, not doxing us, me and Adam live quite close to each other.
And Michael's dying next week, so.
And Michael's had a big change recently, so.
Do you want to talk? Oh, you've been kind of silent this whole podcast, Michael. I think you get in there and you explain your.
You don't have to say your address or anything like.
Some truth, you know.
Well, you know, I've converted to astrology, and I have 10 star signs, and I identify as a pigeon.
Yeah, so as you can see,
Yeah, well, I
big
have,
change.
I've changed for the better.
You want to pick an animal that has a longer lifespan and maybe wouldn't die next week?
I'm a pigeon bitch. Okay? You know.
But
What's so special about the pigeons?
Oh, I just always like pigeons.
Hmm.
You know, but yeah, these fellas over here gonna continue the show.
so
This old Mike
yeah,
retired.
but
I wouldn't say
don't be
that.
don't be
No, I didn't really like
don't
that.
be saying that you're not going to see this face,
Yeah.
because don't be thinking that, because he'll be appearing pretty much on our ZeusWeusFilm content, and
Most
also
of this was filmed.
and and I would
Podcast.
totally say at least 75% of our podcasts.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's just because, as I said beforehand, things happen in life, and availability, you can't ever really control it for everything. So we're going to try to get Mike down as much as possible, but Mike has other pastures where he's
Yeah.
going, and also well, that's also why we're not trying to rush content.
Yeah.
It's because we want it to be the stuff that you want to see, and we want it to be a high quality. And if we just try to rush out videos whenever we have Michael with us, it'll basically just be
Worse
the
than
shovelware
quality
that
of
you
the
got
shot.
at the end,
Yeah.
where it was like
Yeah.
big chunk of stole Easter, and nobody wants to see another one of those. Trust me.
So that's the type of thing we are working on the second season of Hunter Files, but it'll be released like when it's done, sort of thing. Because it's like we want the three of us. Like Hunter Files is like
Sacred
the
to
first-
us.
Yeah, sacred to us. When we filmed
Yeah.
the first season, it was really fun. We want the second season not to feel like, oh guys, we need to do it. It needs to be more like, oh. But he didn't tell you what the poem was about, and he's not going to because it's not going on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But let's get on to the meat potatoes.
Fuck you. Fuck you. It is. I can see the PSNI thing on it.
Here, roll the window down.
Yeah. Oh, he's going somewhere else.
yours. Adam.
Yeah.
Alright.
How are we on? If it comes to that, I'm probably going to kill myself. That was dreadful. People have been calling it the Beast of Ballyboogie. You come around that and you're like, guys, you're like civilization.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait.
Now he finds it.
Yeah, so I think whenever we had so many different types of content, like the podcast, which some of the times weren't that serious and all that, I don't even know what I was saying there. And then you have like actual series like
emotional.
Hunter Files and films. The different types of content were dragging each other down, and I actually
Yeah.
think there's some proof to that because now that I've privated or unlisted a lot of the videos, and we've just left up the series and the films, the channel's like seen the biggest subscriber like spike that it's seen in months. So I'm assuming that's probably because now the channel's more aimed in one direction, as this is a channel you go to see like mostly horror series and movies. So that seems to have actually helped the channel. But ZeusWeus is going to be a place where we can continue to make that content. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it just brings back the passion to it. That's how I would
Yeah.
describe it. Like, because me and we've all been talking about it for a while. Where you kind of think like, oh, what's the idea for the channel? Where's it gonna go? What are we gonna do? And then we always talk about, does the chat this content fit in with this content? And it's always just kind of back and forth. Like, yeah, but we kind of need it all together because we didn't really want to use a second channel. But what we realised was, you know, I was going to use one of my really bad analogies, but I'm not even going to go into. You need to have stuff separated, especially if one of them is film series, and one of them is going to be YouTube directed content
Yeah.
that me, Adam, and Michael can create, say for example, in like 2 to 3 hours. Whereas a series we want to do, we want to film that over like days, etc. So quite a difference in the level of not quality, but the level of production time going into it. Whereas, for example, if me and Adam want to play a game together and make a video out of it, we can just hop on, play a game,
Yeah.
come around here, play a game, and record it. and it'll be, it'll still be the content we want to make, but it just makes it a lot easier for us to digest all and be able to actually put all of our effort into it, rather than basically getting stressed over it, trying to figure everything out. So I'm really excited for it because it actually feels as if it's a path that is very doable.
It's the first time pretty much since we stopped making content at the end of last year that there's like a massive like cloud of fog ahead, that if it's like gone for the first time I can be like no I can see this working, because before it was always like, why am I making content in this channel whenever it's like I had this other channel that I've been making stuff for years, and now it's sitting there dormant, like it doesn't have a purpose. But then this other channel's got whole types of different content that doesn't really mesh well together. It was kind of like, it's like one of those things that if it's not in order, I don't like proceeding. You know the way?
Yeah,
I don't know if you
yeah.
guys are the same, but it's like if things aren't in order and I can see that they're not in order, I don't like continuing down that path, because I'm like, I know this is all unorganised and it's not leading anywhere, so I may as well just not do it.
Yeah.
Whereas like whenever I see all the ducks are in order, I'm like, okay, there's merit to this. Let's full steam ahead, go through it.
Yeah.
So we can make all that content, and ZeusWeusFilm. The best way to put it is ZeusWeus, like the regular channel ZeusWeus is going to be about observation and personality. So it's going to be very personality driven. It's going to be the three of us observing movies and games, and ZeusWeusFilm is very much just about creativity. So one's about our personalities and what we're up to playing games and watching movies, and the other is going to be exclusively about what we're creating, like movies and series.
That's a really good way to put it, yeah.
That's like the way to divide them up. Now, as well as a new podcast, which we'll talk about soon, not in this video soon, but soon, there is going to be a video going out on the other channel talking about some of the same stuff, because it's kind of a way to like bridge those two communities together, because both channels are kind of around the same subscriber count, which is weird.
Yeah, it's
so
actually very strange.
It's like almost they're like 7 or 8 subscribers away from each other, so it's like from a building standpoint, we're actually like moving this type of content over to this other channels, not too.
It's not a bridge too far. Like
it's not a bridge too far. They're kind of off at the same place, so we're going to be making a video there just to sort of like lay some of the same stuff out. But on top of that, there's going to be a link in the description to that channel, and I think it's linked on like the actual like ZeusWeusFilm channel as well. I don't know. I think this is
sweet.
Let's continue to make this content. We're going to have a new podcast. It's going to be wholly original with a different vision behind it. I will be using the same setup, refined, but you could expect to see some changes.
Yeah. I feel really good about this for sure. Like, excited. Really excited.
It's going to be great. We're going to do some
and the biggest thing we want to say is thank you to everyone who watched our videos and is still going to watch them and has tried to keep up with these podcasts and videos. Thank you so much, because we want to make content. This is what we want to do. We want to be creative. We want to succeed in this. This is our goal. And yes, it's taking a bit of a change now, but we believe this change will be for the best, and we hope that you join us both on the ZeusWeus channel and on ZeusWeusFilm. So thank you all very much for watching our content and basically helping us have our dreams come true.
If there's even a single one of you watching that has watched all 21 episodes of this,
they can't even have watched every 21 episodes.
Well, like if there is someone, if you're watching this and you've seen all 21 episodes of this podcast, you're a legend.
And you've hacked into Adam's PC.
You've actually hacked. What?
The other ones aren't up yet.
Yeah, but they'll be up before this one is. Someone might have watched them all in a big marathon.
We're on the dark web now.
We're on the dark web. Find us at
Michael's Market.
Michael's Black Market.
Michael's Movie Man.
Michael's Movie Market.
My toe collection is
my toe collection. We were going to sort of take like a wee look through different moments throughout the past 21 episodes or 20 episodes, not including this one. But do you know what? We're off time because we got to go.
And who knows?
But no. What we're going to do is I'm going to put a wee compilation at the end here for you of some of the best moments of the post-production podcast.
That's a perfect idea.
Bye.
So get the tissues out, get the Kleenex, bottle of wine. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
And not the connects just for looking at Michael, please.
What are you doing with that tissue, boy?
So how do we start?
We had a lot of conversations from that point.
Yeah.
How we want to clean up our act. Not biz.
The more it goes on, the more clean it will be. Alec Baldwin. Who plays
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
He plays what?
Moses Randolph.
Wait,
Was it
that's what
Randolph?
you meant by what's the guy that shot someone? I thought you meant in the film.
No, he shot someone in real life. Anyway.
Oh god.
But let's get on to the meat and potatoes.
F you. F you. Talk about teaspoon. Oh god. Oh, it's all falling apart.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, it's the police, I see it.
How are we on?
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Well, you don't dip your burger in the coffee.
I'm gonna make a slight adjustment.
Is it David Cameron or something? David Cameron. I'm thinking about the Titanic guy.
David Cameron!
Sort of blown to the ceiling. Just hold your breath.
We haven't had a death in like 2 days.
Oh! Scottish people on the right.
Tidal waves coming.
She's recording the tsunami coming and she sends it to the news channel in the last night.
It feels very claustrophobic. I have to sit
Do you
with
not
my
like
back.
being this close to me and Mike?
No, I don't.
The most 80-yard sound effect ever, where you hear like Stronic like, oh, like that in the hair, and then it like just cuts. Like it just cuts to like,
It's a comedy scene.
Yeah, I actually feel like a snail body.
the bit where like the guy lights the match underground and it explodes. It just cuts to his
Yeah.
back. Oh the course.
Yeah. Get into the
Yeah,
pasta and
aliens.
meatballs.
Have fun for meeting potatoes, folks.
See you later.
I'm not a news analyst.
As soon as the door opened, they just started crying like shit.
Yeah,
There's nothing I can do.
Cut to the cage like.
So that's
Is that where we end it?
Yeah, that's where I end it.
Episode 21.
Oh, that's emotional.
Don't end it.
I'm not gonna cry, that's emotional. That's
I
emotional.
broke my hands.
See you guys in
See you tomorrow.
sometime.
Probably next week.
Probably next week. Next week. You never know. Probably next week. Actually.
Don't blink or you miss it. We almost got to the end with the Freddy thing.
We all the Fred thing was in it. At one point.
Fred log.